Hi, and welcome to Math 141. I wanted to make you a video on how to navigate our course successfully, because that's really important. So our home page defaults to the modules page. So our course is set up in modules. And so when you first get there, you'll see our home page and you'll see the Getting Started module. To open a module, you just click on that arrow. To close it, you just click on it. So you can see our course is set up by modules. So the first thing you'll do is go through the Getting Started module. When you go through the Getting Started module, it'll explain how our course is working, when office hours are, all of those kinds of things. So you'll navigate from this home page and then you'll use the next button at the bottom of the page and really read through this material and make sense of it so you know what is going to happen throughout the course. So there's a lot of pages in the Getting Started module, so save time for it. Make sure you go through it and reach out if you have any questions. You do have a syllabus quiz in that Getting Started module, and you have an Introduce Yourself video discussion. So you have an assignment on how to scan and upload things, because that's going to be important throughout our course. And you have probably already picked up your iPads, but if not, there's information on picking up your iPad and a little quiz there. And also we'll be talking about AI throughout this course. So I have a responsible AI use quiz that you'll need to go through and complete. Let's set you up for success. I have a student plan for success. So this is where you tell me what you're looking to get out of the class and then how we can avoid you being unsuccessful in the class and set you up for success. Then you'll get to module 1. Now you have to make sure that you actually navigate through the modules this way sequentially, because if you don't, do you see how this says complete all items? If you don't, then the next module won't open up. So you need to do that. After the Getting Started module, you kind of have a good idea of how the course works, but module 1 is really going to be laid out very similar to the rest of the modules in the course. So every module starts with an overview and then has resources, has several assignments for you to complete, and most of the time there's a reflection at the end of the module. So again, it's easiest if you go from the home page or modules, which is the same, but on iPad you might have to select modules. There is a to-do list that's part of Canvas, but I do not recommend you use the to-do list to make sure you complete all of your assignments. It's just a little troubling when you have a lot of classes and then it gets a little overwhelming. So don't go through the grade book, don't go through the assignments tab, go through modules, or you can go through the calendar. So if you go to the calendar, that will show you per day what is due. But the easiest way is to just navigate sequentially through the modules. That is really important because once you start a more assignment, it's going to go off your to-do list. So if you're only using the to-do list, you're going to have a problem. So stick within the modules. You can start at the overview. The overview gives you a great idea of what you're going to be learning. And then I've also had this rating scale. So every assignment is rated green, yellow, or red, easy, or I would say short. So 15 to 30 minutes, yellow, moderate, which should take about an hour, hopefully less. And then red is difficult, which the assignments will probably take more than an hour to complete or go in an assessment part of your grade, so they're worth more. So those are ones you really want to make sure you understand, you double check, and you complete thoroughly. I do have a weekly layout of what you're going to do, and I've color coded them. So that should help you. Now, modules open on Monday, and then they close the following Monday. So there is a little overlap because sometimes I do open my modules a little bit early because some of you have more time on the weekends to do that. So once you go through the overview, you click the next button at the bottom of the page and it takes you to a resources page. The resources page has some information on what you need to do. Sometimes you will have to read a section. Sometimes you will have to complete things. Once you do everything on the resources page, you're ready to go to the next page. Here's a more assignment. On the first more assignment, I have an explanation of what more is and how it works. And then there's always directions. This is basically how to enter answers into more. Then there's an actual assignment that's not just how to do things, so it's actual math. And notice it says it's rated green. Now, note that it might take you a short time, might take someone else a longer time, so the rating scale is flexible per person. And it tells you how to do things on all of those. Another more assignment, notice this one is rated yellow. And then at the end of the week or the end of the module, you'll have a reflection and assessment. And I have an explanation of how to do these, and I also have an explanation on here. Notice that this is in the red category because that's going to go in the assessment category. So it's really important. This is where you're going to get feedback from me on did you understand the material for the week. So you're going to submit that. There is a rubric attached, you can see, and then you'll go to the next module and it starts all over. So I hope this helps you navigate. You can use this navigation inside on the bar. I'll have announcements. You can access your grades at any time here. Class notebook, you'll learn more about that in the Getting Started module. There is a video library for help. And then there's also online tutoring and some other places to help you. All right, I hope this helped you see how to navigate our course.